Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to just, this thought just occurred to me, so I wanted to do a quick little PSA. For those of you that have been following me for a while and are looking forward to my series of each personality type and how they differ when they are healthy versus unhealthy, I'm gonna try and plan to do that on a once a week basis. I realize that those sort of videos I can't really do off the cuff. I want to make some time in my schedule to think about it. I already have a lot of thoughts, but I want to make sure I think about it and don't leave anything out. But this just crossed my mind is that something that people always sort of don't realize about ESFJs is that they can be super witty. And I think that the reason why people don't realize this about ESFJs is because there aren't many ESFJs that are interested enough in Myers-Briggs to be talking about it all the time on the internet. Most that discover Myers-Briggs are like, oh, that's me, and then move on with their lives because ESFJs, it's not that they don't grasp the theory. In fact, most ESFJs that I've told about the type think it's all pretty obvious. They already are thinking about people all day long, and to think that there are 16 ways of being, it just kind of clicks to them. It's not that they don't understand it, but they don't really seek that sort of stuff out because from what my mom and grandma and sister, from what I know from them, like, they have better things to do than think about theories. And they don't quite maybe get right off the bat, like, how is this going to improve my relationships with people? Whereas a lot of NFJs, even though NFJs also, with their strong FE, would prefer to be interacting with people than thinking about stuff, ENFJs are more likely, and INFJs, to see like the connection between how something like this could actually improve their relationships. Whereas ESFJs seem to just be like, oh, okay, makes sense, and then like move on and do other things with their life. So yeah, it's not due to lack of understanding, it's just due to not really understanding the point. And like ENFJs, ESFJs only want to do something if they see like that there's a point to it. Like EJs in general are very deliberate, but ENFJs and ESFJs look for their inner TI, introverted thinking, in order to make sure something clicks. Or else they're always looking for, how's this going to add value to my life? How's this going to add value to someone else's life? Like that greater FE, like, see, okay, a lot of times we think of extroverted thinking as like a direct output of something, but extroverted feeling is that way too. And EFJs, they're always trying to design their life in ways where it's going to improve the emotional environment for themselves or others, but they're always thinking like, how is this actually going to benefit me or the group? And if they don't see that link, they aren't going to do it. But anyway, I wanted to make a video about this because one of my friends was talking about how her ENTP friend keeps thinking that SJs are NJs, and she keeps getting those confused because her, as an ENTP, gets along quite well with ESFJs and ENTJs, the ENTP gets along quite well with ESFJs and ESTJs, and is like, they're intuitive because they're witty, I don't know, because they're interesting. And this is just not quite true. And I know that, oh, another thing I was going to say, it's mostly intuitive sort of on the internet talking about their type, and so there's less content out there if you search about how SJs actually live their lives and how they what they actually look like. And so most of the information that you get about SJs are from their intuitive family members or intuitive significant others sort of complaining about that disconnect, the sensing and intuitive sort of disconnect. But in real life, when you're interacting with people, I bet there's a lot of people that you don't even bother typing. I bet a lot of those people are SJs that you get along with quite well, that you just didn't even realize. And I think that honestly, NPs are really terrible at this, where they assume that because they're getting along with someone, they must be an intuitive, when actually NPs and SJs get along really well because they both use NE and SI. And especially when an SJ is in the presence of an NP, they're going to be way just quirkier and weirder than they are when they're alone, or whenever they're doing schoolwork, or wherever they're, you know, with other J friends. My cousin is an ENFP, and she's the same age as my sister, who's an ESFJ, and they were always like best friends. And my sister would just really just turn on the charm when she's around her, my cousin, who's an ENFP. They did like improv sketches together. They would do like videos, and they had these weird characters where they were like, I'm Marge and I'm Margaret, and they would like bounce off of each other and sort of like devolve into skits like as they're talking. And I don't know, I just think that people think that SJs are boring when... Let me speak for ESFJs here just for a second. You might think that ESFJs are basic, but really their actual interests, the issue with ESFJs is that they sort of don't develop their actual uniqueness and interests in favor of the group. So a lot of ESFJs actually feel quite alone, like while in groups, even though they might be in a sorority or a fraternity, even though they might be surrounded by friends, even though they might be the student council president, even though they might be the socialite that you see, they feel alone in the presence of groups. I think that ENFJs do a little bit more so, and because, okay, there are oftentimes I look at ESFJs and they're so freaking popular and happy, and then I'm just like, wait, you feel like you have no friends? You have like 25 friends. And, you know, I might be a little biased thinking this because I think that people have thought that about me and have thought that about ENFJs. Like, wait, you feel lonely? But you know everyone. I think that the feeling of like alienation and like not belonging is a little stronger in an ENFJ, because with that introverted intuition, we have that gut feeling that knows who we are, and we aren't as wavering on that. Whereas an ESFJ, with their introverted sensing, can pull out different parts of themselves depending on who they're talking to, and can sometimes feel sort of lost when it comes to the essence of who they are. But for them, it's no big deal to just pull out different like SI parts of them to everyone that they're around. And if they're around an intuitive, they're probably going to be bringing out their extroverted intuition, because that's what they do. They're always bringing out pieces, and they're very chameleon-like. And I think that ESFJs are, in particular, very witty. Like, I'm not saying that ISFJ or other STJs aren't, but ESFJs I know are actually quite witty, because you realize that they use the same functions as NTPs, who NTPs are like the ultimate like jokester, prankster, troll sort of personality, and like SFJs are that. And I think that a lot of INTPs probably would be so confused to find that an ESFJ is their dual in socionics, because they think, and okay, whenever I say INTP, I know that it's different in socionics, that the INTP in Myers-Briggs is actually INTJ, but what I'm talking about is INTP, ESFJ in Myers-Briggs, how they use the same functions. Okay, that disclaimer's over. I knew I was going to get people telling me I was wrong. When I know that, I just use this for simplicity. But anyway, sorry, what I was saying is that a lot of INTPs are so shocked to find that ESFJs are their dual, because they want someone that meets them where their mind is, and they don't see how an ESFJ could do that. So I just wanted to share that, like, my sister is like very goofy, and during Thanksgiving or a little after Thanksgiving, we watched like 3 Hallmark movies like in a row, like Hallmark Christmas movies, and the whole time we were just making fun of the characters for how stupid and cliche they sounded, and also like she just always guesses what's gonna happen. It's so funny. And honestly, I love like making fun of commercials and TV with her because she's just so sharp. Well, she'll be like, oh, let me guess, this guy's gonna teach her the meaning of Christmas. And she's like very like expressive and all that. But you have to think like the same sort of like witty sort of jokes that an INTP has, except for like really expressive. Like ESFJs do that because they still have an ENTI that they're reacting to. My sister, she also joked last year that her New Year's resolution was to be the funniest one in the room. And I always thought that like was so weird where it was sort of a running joke all year. Every time I did something funny, I would like try and be like, oh, am I the funniest one in the room now? Or if we were in the car, I'd be like, well, how can you be the funniest one in the room if you're in a car, like you lost? And like, she just will like banter with me in that way. You know, my sister, she's kind of talking to an ENTP right now, and they like really banter. Like that's like how they get along. I don't know if they're actually dating, so I'm not like trying to talk about my sister's love life on the internet. But I know from how she interacts with ENTPs that it's very playful banter when they're like getting to know each other. Like it's not intense in the way that an ENFJ is like, hey, like tell me all your deepest, darkest secrets. I don't know. And so I think that a lot of, especially ENTPs or INTPs, might get confused and type someone in their life as an NFJ or an NFP or some other intuitive. They might mistype the ESFJs in their life if they get along well, because their NE is like quite strong. And so just for a second, like let's look at me right now. Like I'm an ENFJ. I use extroverted sensing as my 3rd function. ESFJs use extroverted intuition as their 3rd function. As you can see, like I'm a lot more expressive and I'm a lot more expressive than an INFJ. Like when I'm talking, I know I'm on the camera right now, but a lot of ENFJs like have experience being on stage, performing, stuff like that, which is very extroverted sensing. And even though it's my 3rd function, you can still see it. Like I even had a couple people try and say that I was an SP, which I find ridiculous. Like I wish I was an SP. I think my life would be a lot more fun. I think that maybe I would be able to have fun on the weekends without feeling guilty for not finishing that book that I bought. Anyway, you can clearly see that my extroverted sensing is prevalent enough that you can see it. And ESFJs are no different with their extroverted intuition. They like share like memes. They have like quirky inside jokes. They I don't know, my sister's Twitter is like really funny, and I don't know, I feel like NE users are like good at Twitter. I like have trouble with Twitter because I don't know how to be concise. But anyway, that's basically it for this video. I was just sort of going on a rant about because my friend was like, oh, type what you think this guy is. My friend thinks that he's an INFJ, and I was just like, no, like that's like an ESFJ or an ISFJ maybe. This person was like, I like you so much, I'm sorry, like I've just never felt anyone that really understood me. I'm sorry, I'm probably being so awkward right now, ha ha ha. Hey, can I bring you food later, ha ha ha. Like, and sure, FJs do that, and I'm not giving the full story, that's just like an example, but for me, I was just like, it seems like a very fragmented sentence, and like trying to bring food, and like, I don't know, just because this person is interesting doesn't mean that they're an intuitive. Like, this person seems interesting and funny and smart, but yeah, so are some SFJs. So yeah, in fact, everyone is interesting. It's actually, you're boring if you have trouble seeing the interesting aspects of another people. So anyway, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful weekend if I don't make a video this weekend.